So before we get into this properly, let's start like normal people. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
This is like normal people. I am never sure how to start these because a part of me doesn't want to fit in a certain box, even though
hmm
this is totally a podcast. I don't want to keep it, I don't want to make it as it's got to be a certain way, it's got to follow certain steps. So, in all this, I decided that the least I could do is introduce you and say that you are Petra, my friend Petra, that I've met a few years ago in one of the courses that we've both done together, life coaching course. Wow. And yeah, we've been friends ever since. We've met
Yeah,
in London at the Joe Dispenza retreat in person too. So
right.
I got to see how freaking tall you are because I can never tell. You are fucking tall. So
I was
it's
exactly thinking on this today. I remember when I met her and she was like, "Oh my God, you're tall."
you are so tall. You are so tall. I don't know why it blew my mind so much, but yes, in my head it's like you're so tall. Anyway, so so yeah, in the process that we've been together, and at the time that I met you, I know you were going through quite a few things, and
Right.
yeah, I think we can start there maybe. Maybe start there. Maybe share a bit about your story and who you are and what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm Petra Schwab. I'm living in Switzerland. And oh my God, this is so long ago. It's 3 years or 4 years. I really can't remember.
Probably three, about 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was the time I was so deeply in grief because my husband passed away in 2019
Hmm.
and at the end of 2019. And then in the beginning of 2020, the pandemic started. So I was home alone. Well, not home alone, but home alone, more or less, yeah. And and that was a very, very challenging time,
Mm.
the grief itself, but then the isolation and not being able to connect with friends and family and yeah. And then I was looking for something online, some coaching, beside the therapy I was going at that time. And yeah, that was one step on a long path to go and to create the life I'm living now. And yeah. And I was thinking this morning, oh my God, what are we going to talk about?
Anything and
um,
everything.
yeah, I mean, I'm in this coaching business since 35 years now.
Hmm.
Um, but I think there were, I mean, I have family. I have two own kids and two bonus kids from my late husband, and they are grown up now. I think they are more or less your age, and it's like in these all these years, I was working as an employee for organizations, and I always had that dream. Oh my God, I want to have my own coaching business.
Hmm.
But I mean, you know how that works. It's all about the excuses that I was creating. It's no money. The kids are yet too young. I have to make money. I have no time. Whatever. And yeah, and then I met my husband, and we lived together for 20 years. And the moment he passed away, it was like, oh my God, the whole future we created in our minds and in our heart that broke away with that call when my daughter said, "Mommy, he's dead."
Mm.
Everything was like there was like a black box in front of me.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, after the first moment of all these emotions coming up, um, I think it was an hour later. I was sitting in that hotel in Malta on my bed, and I was like, okay, he passed away. You're still alive. Your life goes on. That was one point. And the second was because I've seen some very good friends who lost their partner or their kids, and they created a disease, cancer, heart problems, all that kind of stuff. And I said to myself, nope, I don't create this. I create a beautiful life. I deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was three minutes thinking, and then all the emotions came, and then life were upside down. And then when the pandemic came, I realized, oh my God, I need something. Not sure what it was, and then I have no idea. However, that happened that I contacted with Simon Harris,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in the grief situation too. And then he said, "Oh, come to this workshop," and then so it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And over these years, that was a very helpful community.
Yeah.
Great coachings in which I agreed and grow, and then I was fighting against like this. No, that's not my way. I'm going a different way. And beside this group, there were a lot of other stuffs. I went to workshops. I had different coachings. I did a lot of breathwork coachings and teachings. And yeah, so I went through all this. And in 2022, I was like, oh my God, next year I'm turning 60. So this is, I never thought, I never had any problems by turning 30, 40, 50. It was all good. But this number 60 is fucking difficult. It's like, oh my God, 60. This is like
It doesn't make any sense,
the
does it?
last 20 years or 30 years. It's
Yeah.
like, ooh. And I decided, okay, if not now, then when?
Yeah.
And I I really went through a hard process of stepping out of this idea of being an employee
Mm-hmm.
and having this regular income and all this
Security that comes.
seemingly safe living.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but then one day I made a decision and I called my boss and I said, "Oh, I don't work for you any longer. I quit," and I quit. And so in the beginning of 2023, I started my own business. I had this business before, but it was like a side business. It was more a nice paid hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so I'm doing this for 2 years now, and it's a totally different life. I have so much time for myself, and I'm working. I think I've worked a lot, but it's like at the same time, I have a lot of time for myself. I'm enjoying, I'm traveling, a lot of change in my personality, a lot of personal growth in this time. So I know this sounds weird, but I think for my life, nothing better could have happened as my husband passed away. I think he passed away because he knew everyone of the close people is safe. And of course, I miss him, but my life is great.
How many good things came out of it, right?
Yeah.
That I would have expected. So, what is this side thing that used to be a paid hobby that's now become your full-time full-time happy place?
Now
What
it's
is
my
it that you do?
full-time happy place. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, it's my happy place. I was thinking about this morning. It's not a job and it's not work.
So,
It's my life, it's my passion, it's what I really love to do. Of course, I make money with that. Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
I mean, I have to I have to make money because I have to pay my bills like everyone else. But I really enjoy doing these coachings. I'm I'm really doing I'm offering one-on-one coachings, online or in person, workshops, workshops that I organize, like meditation workshops or personal growth workshops,
Mm-hmm.
or I go to different companies um, who invite me to come for workshops like communication. I had one before some weeks ago for the Red Cross,
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, in case of communication, or mostly team constellations. But sometimes business who ask me to, yeah, who want to support their employees to get coaching, things
That's
like
pretty.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that it's not so much about the subject people come to me. I mean, I have everything. Most people are exhausted because of the job, but divorce, problems in the relationship, problems with the kids, grief, um, health problems. It's not
Mm-hmm.
so much about the subject. This is only the thing why people decide to to
Yeah.
come to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It's all about changing all beliefs and changing all behaviors and then creating something new
Mm-hmm.
and taking responsibility. It's, yeah, listening to your heart and creating responsibility. And it's a beautiful job because it's very simple what I'm doing, but it's not easy for the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like it's a I don't have a concept that everyone is going through, but I'm offering people the space and the tools, the individual tools. And I mean, after 35 years doing this, I have a lot of tools. So I can really see what does that person need. And if I'm wrong, then I'm looking for something else. And then stepping into this process and allowing them to be who they are. And for some people, it's the first time since childhood that they are doing something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I don't think it's easy for people to be able to sit down and just share. Share whatever's happening in their lives, whatever things that they have gone through. It's not easy to
yeah,
poke at words, and also because you were saying about being wrong somewhat. Okay, I might find something else, but sometimes we can't help everybody. We all of us that do this work, right, that work on ourselves, we get to a point of thinking, oh my god, I love this so much, I want to share it with the world, I want everybody else to know about it. If I can help everybody in the world, all my friends, all my family, they all need to know about it. But then certain people are not ready to hear it, and certain people are not ready to go in those places
hmm
to dig at it, and that's cool too. That's
yeah,
okay.
and it's interesting that you're saying this because since last year I offer something that's called best friends coaching.
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, I know you two have this best friend that you're sitting together since years, and you're complaining about your relationships, and you're complaining about your job, and you're complaining and complaining, and the other person is listening, and then she starts complaining or he starts complaining about their stuff. And this is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but nothing changes
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
it's coming together and listening, which is super important. Um, but there is not this input of saying, "Hey, we're talking since 5 years about your relationships. Can you please do something different?" It's like, I mean, I have these friends, and I'm one of these friends, and in a way, I love it because I'm complaining, and I feel much better after this for a short time. To be honest, for a very short time, and then I go on. Um,
I think there's a difference, because I don't think you're using the word complaining, but I don't see it as complaining as much, especially if you've got awareness around what you're talking about. Because sometimes we all need we and I believe that you are in this place too of understanding yourself so well that you know you're not the victim of your own life, right? So
Yeah.
you're not whatever you're sharing with your friends, whatever you're discussing with them, it's more of a, I don't know, there's so much going on in my head. I'm just gonna let it out, and it's gonna make it easier for
Hmm.
me to to release it. But I'm not using it as an excuse for my life, or I'm feeling bad for myself or sorry for myself. It's more an avenue to release some steam somewhat.
Yeah.
So it does help. It does help to help somebody to listen to you, to us in general, whenever we have some things going on. And it does help when that friend that you're talking about also knows the work. And I believe that the best friends that we can always have are the ones that are able to tell us, okay, like you said, okay, it's been 5 years now since you've been telling this story, and it's not up to me to tell them to change. I know this for sure. It doesn't, I can say anything to anybody. First of all, I know that if nobody's asking me for advice or for something, who am I to give it to them? First of all. And second of all, it's their choice what they do with it. It's their choice what they do. If they do ask for some sort of advice and I give it to them, well, it's up to you whether you use
Yeah.
it or not. And then if it's their choice to change or not, there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do
But
for.
I mean, this is out of a very conscious perspective.
Yeah,
But most people are not that way.
for sure.
And I have this in my coachings all the time that people say, "Okay, here I am. That's my problem. So where to go now?" Yeah, I have
Fix
no
you
idea
fix
where you
it.
want to go.
Yeah, because a lot of
Where
people
does
still.
this come from? From my parents? Okay,
Mm,
they are guilty.
yeah.
No, no, it's not about guilt and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So it's really it's a huge process, and the less people are on this spiritual path or this aware path, then they need to make a big step to show up with their feelings, with their struggles, with their to really see themselves in the situation.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like the first step, right? I understand what you mean. I don't know why in my head I thought the the people that you were talking about mostly were the more conscious people, but I totally understand. It's like certain people are right at the beginning, where they don't see that they're not the victim of their own life, and they're still pointing fingers at others, or you fix me.
Yeah,
Okay, this is, like you said, this is my problem. Here it is. Now, what do I do to fix it?
yeah.
But you fix it.
and
'Cause
and even the people who already did some work
Mhm.
on this, um everyone is on a different level.
Yeah. Yes.
And I feel this is the challenge for me as a coach, to see where is this person
Hmm.
and what does this person need. And not to come and to say, oh, I know, bam, I experienced this, then this would be easy. But it's my thing and not theirs. And so it's very important to listen and to give them the time to see that, or to experience that nothing happens when they get emotional, for example, or vulnerable,
Hmm.
or angry, or whatever they get, and they
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a lot for people to get to that place,
Yeah.
especially the vulnerable part, because we're all told when we're little not to, don't
Hmm.
cry. I'll give you something to cry. That's the one
Yeah.
I used to,
Yeah.
that's the one I used to hear. Or for men in particular, the whole you can't cry because only girls cry, boys don't cry.
Right. Right.
That story. So yeah, it takes a while for people to actually feel safe enough to open up.
Yeah, and I
So
think that, let me say this
yeah.
to then go on. And I think the big challenge for all of us is, what does my environment think about me? What does my boss think about me? My wife, my kids, my friends? And when I change something, what do I lose them? This is a
Mm,
big fear.
mm-hmm,
If I change a little thing, does everything change? And
mm-hmm.
the answer is yes and no. I mean, everything changes when you change something, but not everything changes. I mean, you don't lose everything and everyone. That's not true. But it
Yeah,
can happen. It can happen
yeah.
that people then say, ah, and I think you and me, we experience that people say, oh, what's going on in your life? You developed in a way, no,
They don't. We don't fit in their view anymore.
yeah,
We don't follow the narrative that they know us as. Yeah,
right,
and
right.
I would say it even goes as far as like people losing other people from their lives from transition, death,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because even when you were sharing about your late husband, the same I had the same thought. It was a part of you that you had outgrown somewhat.
Yeah,
You've learned whatever you had to learn to gain, or maybe gain is not the right word, from that relationship, and he fulfilled his purpose. You fulfilled your purpose towards whatever interaction you
yeah,
guys had, and it was ready. He was ready.
yeah,
He was
right,
ready to
right.
go to the next level, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then that's what I see in my grieving program, that especially women, they have this reaction like, my partner passed away, especially when it's a partner, but as well with the kids or with the parents. It's like, they passed away, now my life is gone. I can't continue. I can't be happy. That would be like betraying someone.
Hmm.
Instead of saying, oh my God, I love this person so much, and I know this person wants me to take care of me and my life. So I go on. I can still love that person. Nobody says that you have to struggle and to be in pain for the rest of your life because someone passed away.
Yeah. I mean, there's the part of course, the physical human self in us. It's
Yeah.
still gonna go through all the feelings, and it's so interesting because thinking of children growing up, to me, even that, there's still grief in there, or
Mm-hmm.
other relationships breaking, because children are small for a little while. I so miss, even though my kids are still alive and they've grown,
Yeah.
I miss when they were little. It's like there's a little bit of grief in that, somewhat,
Of course.
and I
Or
know
when
it
you
doesn't.
lose a job.
Yes, the same. There's different levels to it. So I understand why there's parts of people that stay with that. Like you said, even if it's a job, there's a little bit of me, there's a piece of me, a piece of my soul, of my heart, that I've put into that job, and now
Right.
I'm not doing that job. If it's a person that is left the same, there's a part of us that goes with that person. So
Yeah.
how do you walk people through this process? Like, especially somebody that comes to you with somebody that's transitioned, right? Because that's the
Yeah.
hardest. I find that's the most challenging one.
Well, it's depending in which stage of grief the person is. Most, and mostly these are women, come to me in a very early stage. So it's 3, 4, 5 months after the partner passed away. And then this is the time where everything is about surviving the next 24 hours.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's more or less the first year surviving. Um, but at the same time, this is the time where a lot of stuff has to be done. All the money, all the organization of where to live, how to live. Do I go back to work? Am I able? Am I sick now? And and it's like there's no perspective. So it's really in the beginning. It's really having a look at what do you really need at the moment, and how can you organize. I mean, a lot of people really, and this is so impressive, aren't able to ask for help in the
Yeah.
small things, and outside in your and personal, even especially in your personal environment, there are so many people who have no idea how to deal with your grief,
Yeah.
and they want to support you, And I remember when I was in that state, a friend called me and she said, "I'm in the supermarket. What do you need?" She didn't ask, "Do you need something?" She was like, "What do you need?" And I was like a reflex. I was like, "Oh yeah, some butter and bread, blah, blah, blah." And she said, "Yeah, okay. I put it in front of your door." So she didn't want to bother me. She didn't want to share her grief because she knew my husband too. She was grieving in a certain way too, to share her grief with me. She wanted to support me. And then I realized, oh, if I'm not able to go for shopping, I can call her because she's going every Friday in a situation where you have that feeling of I'm losing control.
Yeah.
And the first part is all about finding back to control your life, to realize, oh, I don't have to do everything now. I can wait, I can ask for help, I can set the boundaries a little wider to be able to breathe again.
Hmm. I think it's more like a balance rather than control, because we can never have control of full of our lives, but
Right, but people
it's more,
see it as
yeah,
I lose control
yeah, 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 because
over
we do.
everything, emotionally, physically.
Yeah, nobody teaches us, right, when we grow up, how to ask for help.
Yeah,
Everybody's teaching us how to give help, how to support others. Even if we can't support ourselves, we're always taught to give, 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 no matter what. But nobody's teaching us how to ask for help. So I guess it's the hardest thing for a lot of
yeah.
people.
And then the other part is we have no idea how to grieve.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
grieve from the beginning of our life. I mean, you were born, they cut off, and then you lose that connection.
Hmm.
It starts with that. And it's like, I mean, everyone experienced this situation. You're in kindergarten, and then next step is school, and your best friend has to go to a different class, or more worse, to a different school. Then
Yeah.
it's like, this is so painful.
Yeah.
But nobody tells you how to do this. It's like, you will find other friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? It's like when a partner dies, you will find another one. No, yeah, maybe, but I'm still grieving around this. And in our, in, I think in our European world, but I think it's worldwide, like grief is always connected with being sad, with suffering,
Hmm.
and a kind of losing a part of my identity, of my personality. Yeah, yeah. Everyone is sad when they are grieving, but this 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 doesn't last forever. And yeah, and the interesting thing is, I mean, before the person passed away, there were so many good things in your life and your relationship, which was good or less good. But the moment the person passed away, it's like, oh my God, the only important thing was this relationship. And now it ended. All the good things that have been around you, your friends, and you can't see that in the first part. And it's about bringing the people back to an observer situation that they can see, oh my God, there's so much good going on. Maybe you do just little steps to connect again with your environment.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then the next part is really to find a decision how you want to grieve for the rest of your life. Because the grief it never disappears.
Doesn't end overnight, right?
No, no, it's not like, oh, I'm not grieving anymore. Of course, but it's the question is more, how do you grieve? And that's why I called my program Grieving the Power of Love. because I still love my husband.
Mm-hmm.
I still love my husband, but I love myself too. And I love my life. Why should I? If we think very mind focused, why should I stop living a good life because he doesn't live anymore? But this is very unusual to think.
Mm-hmm.
But by time, people can step into different perspectives. And there's a lot of guilt and shame, especially when people start doing things again and enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember it was 3 or 4 months after he passed away. I was at dinner with a friend, and then on my way back, I stopped at a bar and had a drink, and it is a Ukrainian bar, and we danced. There were people to dance, and so it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was coming back, and one of my neighbors with his little sweet dog at 3 o'clock in the morning was outside walking, and he said, and he said in this voice of knowing that I'm grieving, "How are you doing, Petra?" And I was like, oh, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, at that bar, and I was dancing, and it was amazing. I really was, I mean, I was full of these joy and happiness chemicals. And he said, really? And it was like a switch, and I felt so guilty. I felt like, oh my God, he
Yeah.
passed 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm enjoying life like hell.
Mm-hmm.
How bad am I?
Mm-hmm.
And I went back home, and I was crying and screaming and blah blah blah. But this is, I mean, this is one example of many how the rules and values of the society put us in a box,
Yeah.
how you have to behave,
Yeah.
how you have to be.
But that is all only if we choose to, right? Because if you think about it, maybe at the time you didn't have enough strength to be able to, like, okay, this is what my neighbor's thinking. I don't have to take it on, right? Because many times, I'm sure more often than not now you don't care that much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If someone would say this to me now, I would say, yeah, I had a lot of fun. Well, he passed away. It's his problem. He could have gone with me there. Yeah, I mean, it's like
Asking
that.
to
But
move on.
I'm not attached to that pain anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
But really, to be honest, I never would have expected how deep these social rules
would
are
affect.
inside me.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
a in this little village I'm living here in Switzerland. There was a summer whatever festival, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going." And I went there, and a lot of people say, "Oh, are you okay with going here, coming here?"
Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah, yeah, but at that time, I thought, "Oh my God, yeah, they are right." And
Maybe I
there
should be
was
slower.
something out of my education or wherever that comes from genetically. Um, I felt guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I felt guilty to be happy.
Yeah,
I felt guilty to have a few hours without this heaviness. And this is a part of the program to to show these people who are so involved in these social rules, in religious rules,
mm,
very people who are very religious, they they don't allow them to be happy without their partner.
yeah,
And it's to show them different perspective, and then to create very small steps to go there. And then what I now see when I look on these coachings, once people step in there, they start running. And this is dangerous too, because they start running and they forget that, or they ignore that there is a process of letting go and healing the wound of the death. And yeah, and then it's like, oh, come back and let's talk about this and let's have a look at this. And it's, yeah, it's a process of coming back to, well, maybe not so much coming back, but stepping into a new life around the grief, growing around the grief, so that in the personal life, grief becomes smaller because you grow so much. It's not that it's less grief, it's more new experiences, new
Yeah.
people, new hobbies. I mean, I wouldn't have done this coaching thing, my own business. I wouldn't have done this if he would have still been alive, because our plan was, okay, you work till you're 60, because he was 6 years old or so. And then we buy a camper and we travel around the world. A new concept has to be created. But I had that desire to do this coaching for all my life, so it was easy to pick it and to say, oh, maybe I'm doing this now.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't have this, or have forgotten that they once had a dream or a vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
It
it's
makes
about creating a vision to, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? How do you want to be? And stepping in this. Yeah. And it's beautiful to see how people change. Even it's emotionally very, very challenging. And it's forward and backwards and forward. I mean, like with everything. But
yeah, as
yeah.
we know, because we've been through so many processes so far.
Oh, not me.
No. So,
No, not me.
so besides all your business part, what does Petra do in her free time? How do you say you live in Switzerland, right? Have you always lived in Switzerland? I know you go traveling here and there, but
Now, I was born in Germany,
hmm.
but I'm living in Switzerland since 35 years now.
Oh
So
wow.
a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel at home here. This is my home.
Yes.
Um, some uh, of the origin behaviors from the socialization are still there. Um, well, as you know me, I'm very straight ahead. I'm not going this way, but I love to live in Switzerland. I'm a lot of times in the mountains and nature. I really live at a beautiful place. I share a lot of time with my friends. I
Mhm.
love to be with my friends. Um, I mean, as you know, I'm hopping from workshop to workshop and doing meditation and breath work and personal growth. This is my thing to go through life.
Yeah.
Um, I love to share time with my kids still, even they are grown up and living their own lives.
Does that ever end? Because I don't think that ever ends. Like how that would not be a thing. How can you not spend time with your kids, no matter how
Yeah,
old or young they are?
yeah, but I see other families where it isn't that way. It's not that
Mm.
we have to hang up all the time, but um, yeah, great relationship to my kids, and yeah,
That's about it.
I'm really an education junkie. Like
Mm.
my son, he said once to me, "Oh, mom, another workshop, another course. You're really a junkie. Do you really have to go? Didn't you finish learning?" Nope.
We
I
never
love
do, do
that.
we? We never stop learning. As long as we have a breath going through our
Yeah.
bodies, I don't think we ever stop.
And I mean, I relax beside the spiritual things. I really can relax by cooking, painting, singing. Horrible for my neighbors, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No, I mean, I'm enjoying life. I think the older I become, it's really, I mean, the worse it is. I'm really, my personality is more like in my early childhood, like with 4 or 5 years, than it ever had been. In between, I had really times like I was so focused on career and making money and being super woman, super mommy, super lover, super friend, super whatever you can be. And now I'm like, yeah, I am who I am. If you don't like me, I'm sorry for you. It's like I love myself anyway. It's really I'm really going through this, and yeah, I enjoy being together with myself, and that's a good point. Yeah.
So, do you have any, like, I would say, short-term vision, let's say? What is your short-term vision? Do you have anything like planned? Are you hosting any workshops, or is there anything else that anybody that's watching this
hmm
can can I don't know, go and search you? Where can people find you?
Um well, people can find me on online. On most of the stuff I'm doing is on my website. It is it's difficult to say. Maybe we'll put the link
I
somewhere.
was going to say, if
Um,
whenever we're done with this, you can send
because
me
it's a
all the
German
information.
name,
Yeah, you
but
can send me all
the
the information,
yeah,
and
I
I'll
do
put it in
send you
this.
that.
Yeah.
Um, all the social media things, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. And while it's short time, I'm planning a coaching group
Mm-hmm.
for personal growth. Locally, I'm doing an in-person workshop in September in here in the region for personal growth for women.
Mm-hmm.
It's a starting with a 2-day in-person workshop, and maybe if it works out, we continue online. Um, yeah, I'm really the thing is what I love to do more is to really work more for organizations and business, because I really see there is a huge potential in supporting leader person, um, that they change the way they lead, because I think our world is changing so much, especially our world of working,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it really needs a change. And if leader people don't change, they will stand in 5 or 10 years in front of a wall, because with all these artificial intelligence and all the technology that is coming, the employees that then are still working, they need something different.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I love traveling, as you said, mentioned it. I really love traveling, and I'm open to work all over the world. I'm planning with some friends next year a workshop in Australia.
Nice.
So yeah, and I'm open. I don't go back to this 9 to 5. I would never do that. And it happened what I always wanted to have, to be able to work from all over the world with people from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you hear this all the time. My English is like, yeah, half good. But who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the coachings.
Message
It
is
doesn't
on key,
matter.
right?
It's not about the
Message.
language.
Yeah, it's about the message, right?
Right. And yeah, I'm still looking for people to connect with, who have the same values, who want to do projects together. But my main focus is really on the one-on-one coaching, to support
Mhm.
people in their change, because
Yeah.
I think this is I really love doing workshops. I really love that. But in the one-on-one coaching, it's so much more intense.
Yeah.
And you can see the change, and you can be there for a while, and then maybe you make a break, and then you reconnect again, and then you can fix it more to bring this into their lives. And I really love that. I think the power I have is, or the good thing I see in the way I work is I'm super flexible and I'm creative. If I hear something, if you say to me, I'm thinking about this and this, and then it starts automatically spinning around in my head, and I'm like, yeah, we can do this or maybe that. And I really love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same in the one-on-one coachings. It's like, oh, this doesn't work with this person, so next time I'm trying this, and it's very a vivid, alive thing. And
It's
there's
got a
always
lot.
fun. There's
Yeah.
always fun beside all the tragedy and the emotions and all the stuff people are going through. There's always a lot of fun. There's never a coaching without laughter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, never.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know what
Such a
else
great
is
time.
I don't know what else is there. Is there anything else that you feel like you would need to add?
No, I mean it's like, if anyone is interested, contact me. And then
Mm-hmm.
we talk, and then we see if it fits. I'm a person who really wants to bring the best out of the people I work with. So
Mm-hmm.
if I see I'm not the right person, I don't do this. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I could do this and I could make tons of money, but I really feel that's my responsibility to
If it doesn't
in
fit,
my
don't force
work.
it. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
or if I see someone isn't ready to change,
Yeah.
then maybe it's time. It's not the right time, and then maybe we talk in half a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to
Yeah,
force someone to change. I
for
don't do
sure.
this.
For
Yeah.
sure, because the change is not lasting then.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being
Thank
here.
you,
I'm
darling.
going to put everything, like your website and everywhere that people can find you. They're going to find it in the description. So if they want to reach out to you,
Yeah.
go down
Perfect.
there
Thank
and
you.
search.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great.
you too.
Love
It was
it.
great having you.
Thank you.